What's up, Steelers Nation? The grind continues out here in Latrobe, and this team is doing everything it can to sharpen up before what we all hope is a deep playoff run. That means staying healthy, staying locked in, and making sure our stars are ready to go when it matters most. And today, we've got some very encouraging news out of training camp that Steelers fans have been waiting to hear. Plus, there's a noticeable shift in the energy of our new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and it might be a bigger deal than people think. But before we break it all down, you already know the drill. Smash that like button if you're fired up for padded practices returning this week, and subscribe to the channel if you want daily, exclusive Steelers updates straight from camp. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the trenches because good football starts up front. And the Steelers just got some fantastic news. Broderick Jones is expected back at practice this Wednesday at St. Vincent College after missing time with a soft tissue injury. Head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed the update himself, and Steelers fans should be breathing a big sigh of relief. Now, for those who missed it, Jones went down during the final day of Week 1 of training camp. He was spotted on the sidelines getting wrapped up, and after taking one last rep in the 7 shots period, the team wisely shut him down to avoid aggravating anything further. With practice moved indoors due to the weather, Jones didn't get a chance to return earlier, but that changes this week. And folks, this couldn't come at a more important time. Because let's be honest, this isn't just any year for Broderick Jones. This is his make-or-break season. After 2 years of being shuffled around, mostly playing right tackle, the Steelers are finally moving him back to his natural position at left tackle, the spot he dominated at during his college days at Georgia. Coach Tomlin didn't mince words when he spoke on this a few weeks ago. He said, and I quote, "I expect him to do what we drafted him to do. He was a left tackle prospect and a highly regarded one when he came out. I think it's a big year for him, one that we can expect him to play varsity ball." That's about as clear of a challenge as you'll get from Tomlin. And look, the Steelers need Broderick to rise to that challenge. This offensive line has a chance to be one of the best we've had in years, but only if Jones locks down that blind side. With veterans like Isaac Sumalo and young guys like Troy Fautanu battling in camp, the pieces are there. Now it's up to Broderick to prove he can anchor the left side and protect the quarterback, whether it's Rodgers, Howard, or Rudolph under center. So again, good news that he's back. Let's just hope the injury stays minor, and he can use this full training camp to lock in. All right, now let's shift to quarterback because there's something very different about Aaron Rodgers right now. And honestly, it could change the entire outlook of this team. So here's the scoop. NFL insider Mark Kaboly, who's been covering the Steelers for over 2 decades, dropped a little nugget on X, formerly Twitter, after observing Rodgers at camp this week. He said, "Don," this is a direct quote, "I've never met Aaron Rodgers until this year, and my observation of him is that he is a very happy and relaxed individual. Seems like he's enjoying this entire process to the max." That might sound like a small thing, but hold on. This is a guy who spent the last 3 years visibly frustrated, first in Green Bay, with rookie receivers dropping passes, and then last summer, barking at Jets teammates during practice. This isn't the version of Rodgers that most NFL fans have seen in recent years. But this summer, Rodgers looks zen, focused, comfortable, some might say nostalgic, knowing this could be his final training camp in what's been a legendary, creedy 21-year career. And let me tell you, that matters, because we've seen what a frustrated Aaron Rodgers looks like. It leads to tension, disconnect with the locker room, distractions, and ultimately, missed playoffs. That's what happened the last 3 years. But if we're getting a locked-in, calm, motivated Rodgers in 2025, paired with a talented roster, a nasty defense, and better leadership in the locker room, that's a whole different story. Even Kaboly said it himself, he's never seen Rodgers like this, and he's seen a lot of football over the years. Now here's where it all ties together. Think about what this team is building right now. You've got a franchise left tackle in Broderick Jones, finally stepping into his role. You've got Rodgers entering what might be his final ride, but doing it with clarity and peace of mind. Add in Jaylen Warren looking like a breakout back, a WR room led by DK Metcalf, and a defense anchored by TJ Watt and Jalen Ramsey. Folks, this team is stacked, but all of it hinges on 2 things: keeping guys healthy and keeping that positive energy flowing. It's easy to overlook the emotional side of football, but when your quarterback is in a good headspace, that radiates. Through the locker room, Rodgers is already working closely with receivers, staying after practice, and cracking jokes with Tomlin and the coaching staff. That's not the Aaron we've seen in New York or late in Green Bay. This is a guy who's enjoying football again. That's a dangerous thing for the rest of the AFC. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't just tweak the roster this offseason, flipped the whole thing upside down. Aaron Rodgers is now in the building. George Pickens is gone. DK Metcalf is in. Jonnu Smith has joined the offense and the defense. It got a serious makeover with Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, two of the most respected, loudest, and most confident voices in all of football. You might look at this and say, wow, Omar Khan is going Ellen, and you'd be right. After a frustrating end to the 2024 season that saw Pittsburgh collapse down the stretch and fall to the Ravens in the wild card round, the front office decided enough was enough. No more middle-of-the-road performances. The standard is the standard, and that means competing for Super Bowls. But with bold moves come bold risks. And today, we've got to talk about one of those risks, Seago. Former All-Pro cornerback Richard Sherman just went on Cam Hayward's Not Just Football podcast and dropped some serious wisdom that's got people in the Steel City raising their eyebrows. Sherman didn't pull punches. He said what some have been thinking, but were afraid to say out loud. That's what I would be concerned about if I'm Tomlin, Sherman said. It's just because you have a young kid who's been established with this team, but you also have two significant alphas who have been established in this league for a long time. Sometimes egos get in the way of a hierarchy. Let's break that down. Sherman is referring to Joey Porter Jr., the young star corner who locked down a starting role after Patrick Peterson retired. The kid has been nothing short of impressive, mature, physical, consistent. He's earned his spot. But then you've got Jalen Ramsey, a 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champ, and a guy who knows he's elite. Add Darius Slay into that mix. Another former All-Pro with a big personality and strong veteran leadership. So what happens when those three are all fighting for snaps, recognition, and status? Here's what Sherman is really getting at: hierarchy matters in the NFL. Ramsey and Slay are used to being the guy. But in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin runs a tight ship. There's no me culture. There's no favoritism. If you're the best, you play. If you're not, you wait your turn. And as Sherman put it perfectly, ego is the enemy of greatness. That quote hits hard, and it might just be the core tension in Pittsburgh's secondary right now. Look, Ramsey is still elite when healthy. No one's questioning that, but injuries have crept in. Slay, he's lost a step since his Eagles days. Porter Jr., he's young, hungry, and just getting started. So what happens if Ramsey or Slay gets benched? Or is only used occasionally? Are they okay being mentors instead of starters? Are they okay being rotational players? That's what Sherman is worried about. And honestly, we should be too. Let's be clear, this isn't about talent. Pittsburgh has more than enough talent in the secondary. The question is fit, not scheme fit, mental and emotional fit. If Tomlin and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin can manage the personalities, this secondary could be legendary. Imagine this lineup: Joey Porter Jr. locking down WR1 Jalen Ramsey, roaming as a hybrid, corner safety slot, weapon Darius Slay covering WR2 South, with veteran Savion Thornhill playing center field, and Yolan Elliott or DeMonte Kazi coming in for dime. Packages, that's a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. But managing the snap counts, that's a political game. If Ramsey feels disrespected, will he make noise? Will Slay quietly accept a reduced role? Or will the locker room start to fracture? That's where Mike Tomlin's leadership will be tested like never before. And if there's one coach in the NFL who's earned the benefit of the doubt, it's Tomlin. Let's make one thing clear for anyone doubting the kid. Joey Porter Jr. is the future. He's the best pure man coverage corner on the team. He's shown growth, maturity, and toughness. You don't build a defense around aging stars. You build it around rising ones. Ramsey and Slay were brought in to stabilize and elevate, not to replace. Their roles are important, but they can't come at the cost of the young core. And I think deep down, even they know that. So it comes down to communication and self-awareness. Can the vets buy into something bigger than themselves? Can they accept that their value is now measured not just in plays made, but in leadership and mentoring? Sherman isn't saying disaster is guaranteed. He's saying be cautious. Don't let ego destroy what could be a dominant unit. So, let's recap. Broderick Jones is back, ready to take over the left side and anchor this line. And Rodgers looks like a man at peace, having fun again, and focused on one last run. At greatness. And look, we're not making any bold predictions just yet. But when you combine talent with motivation and health, anything is possible for this Steelers squad. But now, it's your turn, Steelers Nation. What do you make of this Broderick Jones update? Do you believe he's ready to become the long-term answer at left tackle? And what about Rodgers? Do you think his calm demeanor is a sign of confidence? Or are you still cautious based on his recent past? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from every single one of you. And of course, if you appreciated the update, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a second of Steelers news from training camp. We'll be back tomorrow with more live updates from Latrobe. Until then, stay strong, stay loud, and as always, here we go, Steelers.